What? Now, I don't want to take his words out of context, right? This title already alone is enough to cause me to kind of like reflexively cringe and like pull back. Like, how could we compare Andrew Tate to Martin Luther King Jr. when it comes to the impact they had on the world, or if you want to call this persecution or any, how can we compare it? Free Top G? For what? Male Rights USA said free Top G. I've seen a few people in here saying free Top G. Why should we free Top G? Do you know that he's innocent? Do you know that he's innocent? Top G is braver than any Azov soldier. I don't think you know much about Azov if you think that. You don't even need to like Azov to know that those people are fucking crazy. Why is it immediately like free Top G, free Andrew Tate? Why isn't there not like a moment of like, oh, let me wait here, let me wait for all the information to come out, let me see the evidence presented, let me see if there's anything, you know, important here? Because the thing is with me, and this is what's really going to get me about this Andrew Tate situation, what has been bothering me for the last 24 hours, I didn't bring this up on yesterday's stream, but it needs to be brought up. Andrew Tate is being charged with human trafficking, right? Very serious crime, something that you can do serious time for. In connection with the raid on his home, there are also rape charges. I don't think that the charges are against him specifically, but there are rape charges that have been used like to raid his home. Like, also very, very serious stuff. Very serious stuff. And all the people that I have seen for the last 2 to 3 years make, you know, human trafficking and sex trafficking their like big issue, whether it be the QAnon crowd, whether it be Jackson Hinkle on Twitter right now, whether it be you know, all the people who are like accusing like Joe Biden, all these other people of being involved in human trafficking, the people who talk about a real human trafficking case, a really scary case of Jeffrey Epstein, the people who are most angry about Jeffrey and talk about Jeffrey the most, all these people, I don't see like a lot of like outrage that there's a possibility that one of the most popular creators for political influences amongst young teenage boys might end up being a human trafficker. People, you know, I heard a lot of anger about like grooming, you know, a lot of anger about grooming when it comes to like Drag Queen Story Hour. I've already given my opinions about it. I think a lot when it comes to Drag Queen Story Hour, I think it's completely baseless. But all of the people who are super angry about that supposed grooming seems to have zero concern or wants no investigation, doesn't want to see the court case, doesn't want to see the evidence, doesn't even, just immediately is jumping to conclusions. He's free. I care so much about human trafficking. I care so much about the youth. That's why I'm involved in QAnon and I talk about Jeffrey Epstein every day. And like, I care so much. Wait, he's been accused of human trafficking? This person who's extremely popular with young men in this country, especially like middle school and high school boys? Nah, man, no investigation. Free him immediately. We don't need to look at the evidence. We don't need to have a trial here. Just free him. Just free him. I care so deeply about human trafficking. But when I hear that somebody that I like has been accused of human trafficking, no, there should be no court case. Just let him go. This is terrible. This is terrible. Like, what? Where is this? It's all a conspiracy. Really? Like, there's so much, so many conspiracies about politicians being involved in pedophile rings, like Joe Biden and all these other people. The mass majority of it being complete nonsense, right? When it comes to stuff against, like, Joe Biden, like, there's no evidence behind it. But now that there's, like charges being filed against Tate, it's like, all of a sudden, like, everybody wants to put away their detective glasses and their Sherlock Holmes hat, put away their pipe. They want to, out of nowhere, they're no longer inquisitive. They're no longer asking questions. They're no longer, like, you know, this, oh, we need to hunt down the pedophiles. We need to hunt down the traffickers. It's now, maybe it's all a corrupt scheme against the human trafficker. Just wait for the evidence to come out before you start saying, like, everybody needs to be released. Blue pill level off the charts. Dude, when it comes to like blue pill, red pill stuff, as far as I know about the Matrix, the idea is the red pill is you take it and you see the truth. The blue pill is you keep living a lie. If you're coming in here and there are charges against somebody that you like, your top G, for human trafficking, and your first response is, free him, and that's your first response, you're not going to be like, you know, I'm going to look at this rationally, I'm going to wait for the charges to come out. Like, there's a lot of celebrities that I liked from my past that had allegations come out against them that I'm like, damn, that really sucks. Who doesn't like fucking Bill Cosby, right? But I would be taking a blue pill if all the way today I'm still like, oh no, Bill Cosby did nothing wrong, I don't know what you're talking about. That would be taking the blue pill. And you're not even asking questions in chat, you're just like immediately like, oh, it's soy to prosecute people for human trafficking. That's so soy of you. That's so blue pill of you. That's so blue pill of you to want to ask questions when a government arrests somebody in Romania for human trafficking. Let me be clear, I don't want to get too much into the details about like Romania politics or like dog on Romania too much, but if you have a lot of money in Romania, you can get away with a lot of things, right? Romania is like, you know, there's that issue in the United States too, but it's to a larger extent in Romania. Romania, due to a lot of its post-Soviet legacy, has a problem with corruption. And so if Andrew Tate got his home raided for human trafficking and a connection to rape stuff and all this and all these other things, we're still waiting for the information to come out. Again, not him accused of rape, but the human trafficking seems to be kind of solidly there. I think I should at least listen to the government, hear them out, see the evidence presented before saying, no, I couldn't see how an internet pimp, a cyber pimp, could possibly be involved in human trafficking. That's impossible. It's not like his home has been raided before. It's like, really? You have no questions to ask here? Are you that just completely dull that you're just gonna be like, nah, top G, red pill. It's like, dude, get the fuck out of here. Come on. Like, where is this inquisitiveness that I've been told about? Where's the asking questions people? Where's the people about all the rationality and all the truth? And, you know, I don't get triggered, but then, you know, a celebrity you like, who is, again, a cyber pimp, gets accused of some very heinous stuff, and before any of the smoke is cleared, you're already ready to put your face directly under his ballsack. You haven't even like waited a second. You're already doing it for him. Sneako's doing the same thing right now in Twitter Spaces, jumping from Twitter Space to Twitter Space, just saying Andrew Tate's innocent. Why? Because he's a good guy. He's a good guy, dude. Mafiosos who murdered thousands of people are good guys when you get to know them. They'll give you nice watches and they'll pat you on the back and ask you about the football game because you're their personal friend. They've been able to divide their work life from their personal life to some degree, and you're on their good side. But let's say you weren't on their good side, maybe they wouldn't be so nice to you. Maybe they wouldn't be so kind to you. Maybe you would find out that they're not such a good guy. Like, I have a lot of family members that I love and I trust very much. But you never hear from like the people who were married to like mass murdering serial killers or rapists and all the horrific stuff that like, I always knew he was a mass murdering rapist. A lot of times you hear, I had no idea. I mean, like sometimes I smelled something weird or there was something, but I never really built a suspicion he was doing all of this, you know? So the idea that like, that Andrew Tate couldn't have possibly been involved in something because he's like a nice guy, and that's what I'm hearing from Andrew Tate and from a lot of people right now, is absolutely ridiculous, right? You know, I'm a nice guy. At least I bet a lot of you guys think I'm a nice guy. I seem to think I'm a nice guy. Does that mean that if I was arrested tomorrow for like 20 counts of serial murder, that you guys would have to be like, no, Dylan's a nice guy, that's impossible? I would hope at the very least you would wait to see the evidence, even if it's me. I would hope at the very least, before you all just start coming out like dogs and chomping at the bit, you at least wait. As long as it's not like Dylan got arrested by Russian authorities after like saying mean thing about Putin, then I would at least assume you guys would wait for the evidence to come out. I wouldn't want you guys to just be knuckle-dragging, window-licking sheeple. Actual sheeple. Not, oh, you believe that. You voted for Joe Biden sheeple. I mean actual sheeple, as in you just follow me. And that's what these Andrew Tate people are doing. When you see these people who have, you know, defined themselves as like, I don't follow the sheep agenda. I don't follow the establishment. Literally just getting in line to be herded like sheep. Follow the leader type behavior we're seeing right now. Like, come on. Ridiculous. And I see people bringing up, well, why is the SBF guy behind bars? Why is he not behind bars and Andrew Tate is? Number one, SBF was put behind bars for a short period of time. I guess either maybe he had better lawyers because I would assume he's much wealthier or was much wealthier than Andrew Tate. Maybe the cases are different. You would need to look at the details of the case. Maybe it was an instance of corruption and him getting away with it. But that doesn't mean that Andrew Tate is innocent of these crimes. Dylan. Lol, better lawyers, or it's some corruption bullshit. It could be any number of things, but don't like look at that to prove like, oh, it's the Matrix that's getting like Andrew Tate. Of course he's gonna say it's the Matrix getting him. Of course he's gonna say it's the establishment coming after him, man. If I was human trafficking and I got caught tomorrow, I'm not engaged in human trafficking, am I? He didn't answer. He said no comment. He wouldn't answer. But let's say I was. I would probably, if I was trying to like get out of it, be like, you know, this is the Russian oligarchs have, I don't know, set me up or something. Like I would come up with some like bizarre whatever to like defend myself. And I mean, Trump did it as well. When Trump was accused of crimes, when Trump was accused of trying to solicit favors out of Zelensky by withholding aid, what did he say? Oh, this is all a scheme against him. When Trump was getting attacked for not releasing his tax returns, which, by the way, we just got some of those public after all these years, and we're going to look at them today. He said he was under attack when he lost the elections in the primary, the Republican primary. He said he was under attack by the establishment. When he lost in 2020, what did he say? Well, it was all a plot. He was attacked by the establishment. Like, this is something that narcissists and liars do often. They'll come up with any number of excuses in order to, you know, explain away their behavior or to cover their tracks. And again, I'm not saying Andrew Tate's guilty. I don't know. The only thing I'm calling out is all of these simps, these dick riders, these people who unironically, the people who would easily become his cam girls if given the opportunity, right? Who he would pimp out in a second if any of them got the chance. Like, these people are riding his dick so hard, I can only believe that, right? These tater tots, right? It's just embarrassing to see grown men act this way. It really is. Like, Sneeko is like embarrassing himself right now by continuing to engage in this behavior. But it isn't just like Sneeko and all the usual cases. You want to know who recently, and I'm not going to say he's a dick rider, but this is some ridiculous nonsense. You know who recently came out and said some wild stuff about Andrew Tate? Asmongold. Very popular World of Warcraft streamer, the gigantic force. You know, he's been streaming forever, right? He deserves the respect that he has earned by being in the space for so long, building such an amazing community and doing what he's doing. But, dog, these comments are insane. Asmongold criticized for comparing Andrew Tate's arrest to Martin Luther King Jr. What? What? Now, I don't want to take his words out of context, right? This title already alone is enough to cause me to kind of like reflexively cringe and like pull back. Like, how could we compare Andrew Tate to Martin Luther King Jr. when it comes to the impact they had on the world, or if you want to call this persecution or any, how can we compare it? But let's read it. Andrew Tate's reported arrest on December 29th on suspected human trafficking and rape charges has blown up on the internet. With the influencer taken into custody in Romania alongside his brother Tristan, speculation has been rife about Tate's viewpoints as well as his actions. Asmongold is known for not holding any punches when it comes to these big moments in the news, but his comparison of Tate's arrest to Martin Luther King Jr.'s persecution has caught the ire of those online. The Twitch star claimed the government frames people all the time, and there's a chance Andrew Tate could be used as a martyr like they tried to fuck with Martin Luther King due to corruption. Let's play the clip that he said after this comparison. Let's listen. Let's listen to this. Let's listen to this clip. I don't want to take his words out of context. I don't want to fumble them. Okay.
Brothers, what's the probability that the government wants to frame the Tate brothers? I don't know, probably 50%. I think it's pretty high. Like, the government frames people all the time. Like, if we've seen anything out of like any of the leaks from, you know, the way that they tried to, you know, fuck with Martin Luther King and people like that, yeah, absolutely, the government fucks with people. Yeah, it's Romania. Okay, so
I watched the 30 seconds that follow this clip as well. It doesn't really make him look any brighter. I have said for a while, and I've released a video on my second channel about this a while ago, not a while ago, a few weeks ago, about conspiracy brain rot. People genuinely are starting to believe that conspiracies are common and that they're everywhere. And the thing about conspiracies isn't that they don't ever happen or that they're not real. It's but there's like two misconceptions, right? Because I think a lot of people live in this kind of like Tom Clancy syndrome, this kind of main character syndrome of like, I need to uncover the truth, and oh, there's just so many mysteries and unsolved stuff out there, and ooh, and you just start believing the wild stuff because it's fun and it's, you know, exciting to believe it. Like, oh, Bigfoot's real, the Loch Ness Monster cover up, oh, the moon landing was fake, ooh, wouldn't that be interesting? And it's like fun to play little detectives on the internet, little detectives with history, and it's fun if you keep it in like the fiction section. If you're making weird alt history hoi for like books or whatever, if you're just keeping it online and keeping it like $1.50 where you're just like, oh, this is all make-believe, that's fine. But most people don't do that anymore. Now it seems that they're actually starting to believe their own nonsense. And the two things about conspiracy that I think a lot of people don't realize is that A, conspiracies are usually a lot more boring than they're portrayed on television and on the internet and by these hucksters that pretend that all these conspiracies are true. And two, they're very rare. Conspiracies are real, but they're very rare and they're very boring. And I would say before you start making claims like there's a 50-50 chance, like a coin flip, that this is a conspiracy by either the American or Romanian governments to do Andrew Tate in, before you make a claim that bold, that brazen, that this particular case is for whatever reason 50-50, I would want to see some motivations for the Romanian government to do this. Why would the Romanian government want to do this? Would the Romanian government want to do in Andrew Tate because they're worried about American middle school boys getting red-pilled on women? Is there some corruption thing in Romania that they're trying to clamp down on, and Andrew Tate got wrapped up in some like Romanian politics that I'm not aware of? Is this some CIA plot to take out Andrew Tate because he said some dumb things about Ukraine, which I made a video on my main channel, DylanBurnsLIVE, if you want to go check that out. Like, what are the motivations? And that's not even, and the motivation part is the easy part, by the way. Anyone can paint motivations out of any situation in the world. That's super easy, right? I could make a motivation for, you know, the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand being done by the President of the United States, right? I could make some motivation out of that. I could say, oh, well, you know, the weapons industrial complex wanted to make money, so they were involved. That doesn't mean it's true, but I can paint motivations anywhere. That's the first step. The second step is actually having evidence. And there's no evidence of conspiracy. This just happened. None of the information is really even made its way to the public outside of the bare bones. Like, what are the charges? His home was raided. He's going to be in prison. He's going to be in a detention center over the New Year's. It was him and his brother, like the most basic of facts. And he's already saying 50% chances, like Martin Luther King Jr. and CIA spying on him and the blackmail that was done on Dr. King. Even though, A, this is a separate government, not the American government, so I don't know why we're using American corruption. We would need to be looking at Romanian corruption scandals instead, Romanian conspiracies instead. And B, what's the motivation? Like, what is the motivation for the Romanian government to try to do in Andrew Tate? There is none, as far as I could see. So I don't understand why he's making it sound like this is like a coin flip as to if Andrew Tate's being persecuted by the Romanian government. It's ridiculous. He's making it sound like conspiracies are super common, and this is the problem with conspiracy brain rot, and how much our concentration on like shady information and like vague stories and like hearsay to paint beautiful little QAnon-y or conspiratorial pictures on the internet has created a culture where this type of stuff, it doesn't even like get a second guess from a lot of people. They'll hear this and say, yeah, that sounds about right, 50% chance. No, again, conspiracies are rare and they're incredibly boring. This is extremely high profile, like very high profile. Andrew Tate is a celebrity. This would be something that would also be dangerous to make a conspiracy around. Andrew Tate isn't like some whistleblower. I know some people trying to compare him to Julian Assange. Andrew Tate has never done original journalism in his life. He's not exposing any like conspiracies about weapons of mass destruction. He's not exposing like government corruption. He's not doing any of that. He just repeats other people's talking points. Like for example, when he talked about like Alex Jones saying that the war in Russia was going to invade Ukraine this year, he just misrepeated what Alex Jones said, which was that a war over China and Taiwan would start this year, which, well, didn't happen. He just repeats other people's conspiracies, not even that well, like he's done about Syria and other conflicts. And that's going to get the government so angry that they're going to take him down. That governments will usually go to the original whistleblowers. They'll usually take out the people who are working with original sources and are like, certified reporters, not, again, internet cyber pimps who have hot takes online. That's not how these conspiracies work. See, people are saying, perfect example, Julian Assange. Andrew Tate is not Julian Assange. He's Andrew Tate. He's a kickboxer, and he like rotates cam girls and gives hot takes on the internet. That's what he does. He is not a hot endangered reporter with the amazing information that's going to change the face of the world as you know it. He is a cyber pimp. You just don't get it? What do you mean I just don't get it? What is that even supposed to mean? You don't understand, man. The conspiracies are everywhere, man. The government's got their fingers in everything. Like, dude, what? Like, come on, man. Like, should I do this like every time somebody gets accused of fucking rape? I'm gonna be like, 50-50 chance it's a conspiracy. 50-50 chance it was a conspiracy against Bill Cosby. How do we know that was real? Maybe, Sean Spicer. I bet that was not Sean Spicer. What was his name? The guy from House of Cards. Kevin Spacey. I guess, that could have been a conspiracy. Who knows? Maybe they framed Jeffrey Dahmer. We really need to get to the bottom of all of this. Like, come on, guys. Like, you need, at least before you start asking dumbass questions, you need a motivation before you start asking these dumbass questions. Like, it's unbelievably frustrating to see you guys come in here wasting your time on like trying to guess that this was conspiracy. Just wait for more information to come out. If they're gonna keep him in jail, if they're gonna bring this to court, you know what they're gonna have to do? They're gonna have to have a prosecution provide evidence. So just wait. It's Romania, right? But it isn't like Putin's Moscow, or Kim Jong-un's North Korea, Pyongyang, or Xi's Beijing, where we're like, oh no, there's gonna be no trial whatsoever with no fairness because of political reasons. Like, we have no reason to believe that. So just wait for more information to come out. God, man. Unironically, man, a democracy like cannot function if everybody's working off of just flawed information, because the whole thing about democracy is that the individuals are the best at managing their own affairs, and each person is able to like look at their environment and tell their representatives exactly like what's wrong in their community so they can deal with those issues and have an impact. Is how it's supposed to work. But if your perception of reality and what the problems are and how to deal with those problems are so flawed that when somebody's arrested for sex trafficking, your first conclusion is immediately free him because he calls women whores on the internet and it's funny. If that's your immediate like conclusion from that, I don't think you can be a responsible voter. It'd probably be better for democracy if you didn't even participate. Because if your perception of reality is that flawed, like, you cannot look at reality, perceive it, and then make rational decisions based upon what you perceive to then go to the voting booth and vote. I can't, like, how, like, I can't endorse you voting because it feels like irresponsible. It feels like giving a monkey a machine gun. Like, it's completely irresponsible. Anyway, God. It's authoritarian time. It's not authoritarian time. It's education time. Okay? It's education time. This is how he leads to George Santos, the person who lied about being Jewish, the person who lied about Ukraine, the person who took money from the money managers of Russian oligarchs. We're going to talk about that today. The person who lied about his educational background, his work experience, because he was able to manipulate your reality so much and trick you about all the things that he was to get elected. That's the conclusion of not doing, number one, that's the conclusion of his Democratic opponent not doing good oppo research, okay? Whoever was hired to do opposition research on his opponent's campaign, he's never working in politics again. And it's the result of us allowing him to just twist our reality and lie and deceive us. Anyway, that's enough of this.